Welcome, SENS Talk.
Russell winds in, feeds it back across the strike, and scores! Brady Tkachuk makes it 2-0. Claude Giroux, hit along, scores!
Tim Stutzock Ross, Tkachuk score! The captain, Brady Tkachuk, buries it with 1:18 to go.
See you later. Go, SENS, go. I can't believe it. Chef Steo's cooked and beans are on the dinner table tonight. Shane Pinto extends with your Ottawa Senators on a 2-year contract extension at 3.75 AAV. Beans are on the table. I'm sorry, they're not pinto beans. It's close enough. Chef Steo's, my goodness, these last 48 hours, you have cooked, my friend. You deserve many apologies by many SENS fans. What a contract. And my goodness, after all that nonsense, all that stupidity we heard yesterday and going into today about trade requests and he wants to leave Ottawa. Yeah, I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so. Pinto beans are going to be on the table here in Ottawa for dinner for the next couple of years minimum. Welcome back, Shane Pinto. It was never in doubt. A 2-year deal at 3.75 AAV. It will be $2.5 million for this year. And then notably, for next year, it will be $5 million. So that second part is very, very important because Shane Pinto, at the end of this 2-year extension, will still be an RFA, a restricted free agent. So that $5 million figure will represent the qualifying offer Ottawa will have to, offer to Shane Pinto when they try to retain him as a restricted free agent in the summer of 2026. So safe to say, in this deal, the Ottawa Senators get what they want. Shane Pinto on a team-friendly AAV. This way they can still make some moves in the remainder portion of this free agency period. And for Shane Pinto, he gets a good amount of money, 3.75 for 2 years on average. Not bad whatsoever. And more so, the starting mark for his next contract extension in those RFA negotiations, again in a couple of years, is going to be at a much more palatable point for him. Once again, the issue for Shane Pinto, as we've heard, and this is why all these nonsense trade rumors were out there, was the money. That was the big sticking point. So this is a very good compromise where Ottawa, once again, gets the team-friendly deal. And for Shane Pinto, his next contract will start off at least $5 million as the floor for his next potential AAV. So this is a great piece of business here for Shane Pinto, obviously. He gets to stick around with his buddies here in Ottawa. He gets to play hockey. And more so gets paid a good amount of money. And for the Ottawa Senators and Steve Steos, they lock up a key part of their core, a guy that we'll talk about later on that might even be in the top 6 to start next year, and a guy that should be a fixture to Ottawa's top 9 at the very minimum, hopefully for years and years and years to come. This guy has only improved every year he's played in the National Hockey League. His first year, 82 games, was phenomenal, 20-goal scorer. And of course, last year in 41 games, half a year, put up very, very good numbers as well, which we'll get into in a second. Also, back with North Dakota and NCAA, this guy put up some great numbers as well. So this guy is a consistent player. I have no doubt in my mind that Shane Pinto is going to be a star in this league for years to come. A consistent 20-goal scorer at the minimum as well per year, in my opinion, is what Shane Pinto will be throughout his NHL career, especially on this contract. And once again, the fact that they were able to find some common ground to get this done, thank goodness. Beans are on the table for dinner for tonight, and I think for a long time, because we're going to have to celebrate this one, SENS fans, because for a good amount of time there, for the last 4 to 8 hours, even the last few weeks, I was getting a little nervous. I think you were too. We started hearing about this nonsense of trade requests and stuff, which of course was just a ploy by Shane Pinto's agent to kind of strong-arm Steve Steos. So obviously there's no merit to that because within 24 hours of those rumors being reported by reporters, so to speak, he signed a 2-year extension with the Ottawa Senators. So once again, don't believe that stuff, especially in a disputed contract negotiation like this, just for the future, whoever it will be, whether it's with Ottawa or somebody else. Just take this piece of advice. Take everything you read in the news around contract negotiations with a grain of salt, okay? Take it with a grain of salt because often it's either the organization or the player trying to push a narrative to hurt the other side. So with that, all I have to say is Ottawa has a few $1 million left to play with thanks to this team-friendly AAV. So this is really, really nice work by Steady Steve Steos. And once again, Shane Pinto, he still gets paid. He was watching all his buddies get paid. He was watching all these guys get paid, in free agency. Finally, he gets paid as well. So what are the Ottawa Senators getting in Shane Pinto? Well, I'm sure you know about this guy, but if you don't, here's what we're getting. Last year in 41 games, of course, only played half of last year due to that gambling scandal. 9 goals and 18 assists in those 41 games for 27 total points in those 41 games. Not too shabby, to say the least, especially when considering the fact that he missed the entire preseason. He missed training camp. He missed half a year. So missing all of that to come back like that, didn't even miss a beat. The moment he was signed, he was back in the lineup, and in 41 games, 27 points. Pretty impressive, to say the least. Now, throughout his entire career, he's played in 140 games, 30 goals, 40 assists for 70 total points. Here's the key catalyst about Shane Pinto, in my opinion. He's a strong 200-foot player, and that starts with his face-off abilities. In his career, he has a 50% face-off rate. Last year was a little above 50%. 2 years ago, in his first NHL year, above 52%. So this is a guy that wins the bulk of faceoffs he, sees and he has to draw against. And that's so valuable for so many reasons. Obviously, winning a faceoff is important, but let's say, Shane Pinto is not just a defensive guy. He's a two-way guy, right? He can play offensively and defensively. So let's say Ottawa is in their own zone. Put out Shane Pinto. He can win that faceoff easily. Let's say Ottawa has a power play in the opposite zone, in the offensive zone. Put him out there. He'll win the faceoff. Having a guy that can produce offensively, play strong defensively, and win faceoffs regardless of the zone, chef's kiss. So valuable, especially when you look at the fact that a lot of centers don't average a 50-plus faceoff rate. So that on its own, and once again, this guy's young, it might even get better. That on its own is really impressive to me. Now, if you look at his Corsi for percentage at even strength, it's the third best on the team at 53.8%. That's below only Brady Tkachuk, the captain, El Capitano, and Claude Giroux, a Hall of Famer. So I don't know about you, that sounds pretty good to me, and that really shows how good he is in both ends of the ice. Throughout the entire surface, he is a strong 200-foot player. And once again, 35 points, 20 goals in 82 games in his first NHL season as well, right off the bat. Whether it's missing half a year because of gambling scandal and coming out hot, or starting off your career hot, Shane Pinto always performs regardless of the circumstances, whether he's a rookie or missing half the year. So Shane Pinto is a player that's only getting better. Steve Staios has repeatedly said that this is a guy that will be part of the core long-term, as he should be, by the way. And this is a key step into getting to that. Now, once again, you might be worried about that $5 million floor for the qualifying offer in a couple of years. But understand this. Firstly, Nick Jensen probably won't be extended in a couple of years. That's $4+ million off the books right there. Let alone the fact that Forsberg's gone and other guys, and Jakubchuk's coming in as well on a rookie deal as well. So a very low cap hit for likely a top 4 guy in a couple of years. So there will be cap flexibility in the future to re-sign and extend again Shane Pinto. So I'm not really worried about that, because once again, Shane Pinto deserves to get paid. And I think this is a fair compromise once again, where Ottawa gets that team-friendly AAV. They bring back a center that's so integral for the immediate future and the long-term future of the team, especially with question marks around Josh Norris and whether or not he can play down the middle next year, especially at the start. So for that reason alone, this is huge. But more so, once again, to have a guy like Shane Pinto back in your lineup without any distractions now going into camp, that is so valuable, I cannot even really put it into words. So once again, welcome back, Shane Pinto. Once again, Pinto Beans. I know this is not Pinto Beans. I couldn't run to the store. I wanted to get this video out. It's close enough. This is what I'm going to be having for dinner, though. That's for sure. I'm sure Shane Pinto won't be having pinto beans. I'm sure he'll have a nice steak dinner tonight, as he should, with that massive payday that he earned. Once again, he's been consistent, whether he's in the NCAA or in Ottawa. This guy's been consistent no matter where he is, and frankly, he's only going to get better. Once again, in the NCAA, got better every single year. In Ottawa, got better every single year. And in Ottawa as well, only half a year last year, put up almost the same amount of points as he did in a full year the year previously. So this is a guy that I think next year, in a full year, especially in that top 6, we could be looking at 60-plus points for this guy. Now, we'll see if he's on that third line. 40 to 50 points is more realistic, but if he's on that second line as a center, 60-plus points guaranteed. You're playing next to a guy like potentially Drake Batherson or Josh Norris. Come on. How are you not going to put up the points, especially when you're already doing so in a bottom 6 role previously? Now, the Sens have just under $4 million in cap space, with 10 forwards now under contract, including Shane Pinto. The club, of course, still needs to add depth to its fourth line at the center role, and of course in the back end on the blue line. They need to sign a guy there as well to not have Travis Hamonic be, starting every single game. No offense to Travis Hamonic, he's probably better as a seventh defenseman though. So if you look at your screen right now, this is how currently I have the Ottawa Senators drawn up for opening night, where I have Tkachuk, Stützle, and Giroux staying together as the first line. I might get some heat for this, and I've seen Everyday Sense put this on Twitter as well, and I have to agree. Where Josh Norris, I think in my opinion, should start on the left wing. He's had like multiple shoulder injuries now. When you're a center, you're crouching a lot. You're using your shoulder a lot. Obviously, it does not make sense for me to put Josh Norris in the second line role, especially to start off. Maybe later on in the year when he's more comfortable and seasoned and into a groove after a lengthy absence again. Maybe he draws into the middle again, but Shane Pinto has proven he can play on that second line, so let's just put him there. Have Norris go to the left wing, put Batherson on the right wing again at the second position. Then you have a third line there that's really solid of David Perron, really Gregg, and Michael Amadio. Good mix of speed, grittiness, and experience. And then the fourth line is where really you have holes where Noah Gregor is there. I can see a Crookshank or Osipchuk or Yerventi competing for a spot there. And then you also have Zach McEwen, who will likely be the 13th forward. So, we need to add another depth forward or two and a defender. But with just under $4 million left, it's certainly possible to do it, but it will definitely be tough. You got to be very, very, you got to pinch your pennies, I'll be honest, with the remaining few $1 million we have in cap for a couple of reasons. One, you want to make sure that you can get a couple of quality depth pieces, not just like one very good piece. You want to get a couple. And two, you want to have a bit of flexibility throughout the year as well. You don't want to be like right at the cap. You want to have a little bit of flexibility so you can make call-ups without having to be concerned about, oh no, we have literally $10 of cap space. What are we going to do? We have no one to call up. If you have a couple $100,000 of cap space, it makes things much more easier for day-to-day operations. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully, let me check my phone because literally, I just uploaded a video for Matthew Joseph to break down that trade. Let's just see if Ottawa made another move here. Okay, thank goodness. I can take a break for the day. Oh my God. I have uploaded in the last 48 or 70, we'll go 76 hours. Not complaining, but in the last 76 hours, I have uploaded like 6 videos, I believe, 5 or 6 videos. And I work. So it's been long. It's been long, but it's been fun because this is what it's all about. We're seeing some key guys be brought back like Shane Pinto, and we're seeing some great additions like David Perron and Nick Jensen and Amadio and others. So this is the beauty of hockey. This is the beauty of covering your Ottawa Senators. You never know what to expect. The only thing I can expect right now is a bowl full of beans for dinner tonight. So besides that, welcome back to Ottawa. Shane Pinto, my goodness, what a weird saga that was, but I'm so happy it's done, and both sides compromised and got a good deal for themselves. Now besides that, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you happy about this contract, or are you upset? Would you have preferred them to sign him long term, or are you okay and satisfied with the bridge deal? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that, I'll probably see you in the next 30 minutes. We'll see if Ottawa makes another trade, but if not, you'll definitely see me within the next few days for sure. And with that, I'll see you all soon. Go Sens, go.